When you're ready, guys.
Oh shit.
There we go. All right. What's up, guys? So today we've got a good friend of ours. His name's Ben Gleeson.
I'm meeting him for the first time. Sorry.
Yeah. What did we meet like 10 minutes ago or something like that?
No, we met once on the train. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, no, a couple of months ago. Yeah. I remember
that was a crazy coincidence.
Sorry, all white people look like the exact same. So it's,
Yeah.
So we have a bit of a different setup now. So moved out of my parents' room. Well, not my parents' room, my house. And we've gone to your place now.
Yeah.
Because your uncle's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss him.
Where's he gone, bro?
He went back to Pakistan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
to
that's
work or
huh?
to work there? Or?
No, well, they just visited us. So
Oh, cool. Yeah.
the cool thing about my family is like we all live in. So my dad's family and my mom's family, they both own like apartments, and so each floor has like a different family living on it.
Okay.
And so for me, every time like I go to Pakistan or when I used to live there, I would go outside and there would be like at least one uncle or cousins or something going on. So now like my house feels really empty. So I was like, guys, come fill here.
Feel like you're at home back there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
Back to uni this week, guys.
Oh,
Not really.
Got a week, but
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
you doing anything for a week?
I am going to go, I've said this so many times and I never end up doing it, but I'm going to go and sign up to everything and actually get involved because I'm doing full-time uni this semester.
Even Pakistani society?
Well, maybe not that one. I signed up, I keep getting emails, I'm like, nah, I don't know. Maybe I should be a bit more open-minded and actually just give it a go. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely want to sign up. Actually, I met this girl in Hornsby who just transferred to Macquarie, and I can't remember what she was studying. I think she was studying
Psychology.
psychology.
Every girl
And,
in Hornsby is studying psychology.
It's a North Shore thing.
Yeah.
And so again, meeting new people. So going with her to go around and sign up to stores. I'm sure when I'm there, I'm going to try and talk to more people because, just build your social circle. You never know who you might meet, and that's kind of how our group of friends started.
I tell you what's big, like, I know this is like, it can be underrated, but you know the white party, like, it's like I Love Uni party or something like that.
I heart.
They hype it up so much, but I've just heard a lot of mixed things about that. Like, that's something you could go to.
If you're Asian and you're into Asian girls,
Yeah.
go to that.
There's
But,
no brown people there.
Yeah, actually, the only exception I would say, because it's hyped up so much, the white party, which is the first one during the year,
Okay.
like that one tends to get like a whole variety of people, and then like once people have gone to that one, they realize, it's not that great, and then that's when you kind of get the people that actually really want to go, which is for some reason, I don't know why, but it's always like the kind of the Asian mix.
I don't go to racist
Demographic.
parties. They don't have a brown party. I'm not going.
There's a red party on this weekend.
Doesn't count as brown.
Is that like racist to white people?
No, I'm joking. Of course.
But for real.
Damn. This week has got it's been like so busy for me because next week I've got a big stand-up thing. On August 4th. 600 people. So
What's that at? Sorry?
600.
600 people estimated to be.
That is a big step up from the 12 at the
That's
comedy
what I was
night,
saying.
man.
That's why I was like, I'm doing it in a language that I'm not familiar with.
Oh, so you're actually doing the whole thing in that.
That's
so I'm
what
not
I
going to
was
understand
talking.
you, so I'm just going to laugh at you.
That's what I was saying. That's
Oh
why
my
I'm
God.
terrified.
I'm going to be the only Asian person. Though.
Yeah, 100%.
That is going to be weird.
600 people. So my first stand-up thing I did as part of the 100-day challenge that we were doing for our first YouTube channel. And there was about 20 people there. And now the second stand-up thing I'm doing, 600 people. So it's like one step and then like fucking top of the mountain. I'm
But
terrified.
hey, you're going to grow so much as a result of that.
True.
Yeah. Anyways, back to Ben. There's some other things you do outside of uni, don't you?
Yeah, there's a few things. So I was just telling Mick before we
Yeah.
sort of set this up. So like I started a swim academy when I was 19 called the Aquia Swim Academy. I teach school-age kids how to swim at certain pools around Sydney, especially with the North Shore, like where Knox is and stuff. So really hot target market.
Yeah.
And it's
How did you
really
figure
helped
that
me to
out?
sort of grow.
How did you figure out that was a good target market? Did
Oh,
you do,
just
like,
because
some
that's where
research
like
into
most
it?
families live in Sydney. Like, you know, you think about like different areas in Sydney. There's different demographics of people and stuff.
Yeah,
So, you know, with me based in that area, it's helped me to try and grow that business and have the right partners and prospectors be part of what I'm trying to do. And just with who I've known and, you know, reached out to, it's just really helped me to grow, especially because I've done an interview with Andrew Lauderstein.
Olympic swimmer.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you gotta fill me in. I only know cricketers, so
No, it's fair
Actually,
enough.
he was. I think he got a third at the Beijing Olympics in 2008.
Shit.
Yeah,
He was in the lane next to Michael Phelps.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he swam next to Michael Phelps. Yeah, and
Claim to fame, it's always something with Michael Phelps.
So
Yeah.
how did that come about? How did you get like? Did you have to work your way up? Or
honestly,
you just call him every day. You're like, please.
No, it wasn't like that at all. Actually, it was I wanted to sort of collaborate with someone that was open-minded in the swimming industry and someone that wanted to, you know, change the sport in a positive way. There's too many swim schools out there these days that are very business focused, and they take that personal experience away, and it's sort of destroying the sport because, you know, they're using the same methodologies on the child and they're teaching the same thing over and over again, and it's not benefiting anyone. And for me, I wanted to reach out to people that, you know, one, had the experience, and two, you know, I felt as though people like Andrew were good for me because, like, you know, he's got like he's been an Olympian and stuff, and you know, he's actually going to be the one that's going to, you know, hit hot dollars because he knows what he's doing.
100%.
And like, I've got future plans with a few other swimmers. I was in talks with Bobby Hurley about doing an interview with him.
He didn't make the Olympics, but he's pretty fast.
Damn.
Yeah, he actually.
He coached at Knox for a bit.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was the world champion in short course 50 back.
I think he held the world record for the 50 back.
Yeah,
short
yeah,
course
he did.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, correct. So he held the world record for a few years.
I actually feel so sorry for that guy at times. You know, do you know what happened? I think it was 2012 trials.
Yeah.
So, okay, what they do at the Olympic trials, they take the top two of every event, and if they make the qualifying time. And then with the exclusion of the 100-meter freestyle and 200-meter freestyle, they tend to take top 6 because they need the relay team.
Yeah.
So what Bobby Hurley, he placed third in the 400 free, so he missed the spot for that by 1. And then he placed
Swimming's
seventh,
a hard
and then
sport,
he
man,
placed
isn't
7th in the 200 free, so he missed that by 1 spot as well. I don't think he's made the Olympics now.
Yeah,
So,
he went to a FINA
that
World
is-
Championships in
that is
Doha.
hard.
Yeah, Doha. I've actually, I watched the race, so yeah, like I know, like how fast he was swimming back then.
I know that 95% of the people that are going to watch this have no clue
Yeah,
about
I-
swimming,
me-
but this,
myself
you're
included.
learning a bit here.
You can just watch my face and like.
For those of you, I used to swim. Ben used to swim.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of our thing back in our teenage years. So,
Yeah.
What
We
are
used to
your-
go to school
What are you
together.
guys like top 3 tips for like swimming fast? Just like swim,
I-
or is it like based on natural talent?
You
Like,
see, I feel like it's a mix.
Practice.
It's
Really?
a mix. There's practice involved. And see, I was an angry kid back in the day. And like swimming was like an outlet for me. So I think that's why I was so good at sprinting. It was
Something's
like-
an
it was
outlet.
like-
Yeah.
was like-
Something's an outlet
yeah.
for everyone to, you know, release some sort of anger or
Yeah.
mischief
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something like that, you know?
that just gave me like a flashback to like.
It's
Evo-
like when
Evo
I'm
Vincent.
sprinting, he's like, "Argh!"
No,
Like, that's my
Evo
anger.
Vincent like with his like mind paint, and he's like going in and he's like
Yeah.
angry. Like instead of cutting himself, he just.
It's that, and then there's also the validation that you get. Like I feel like every single time you swim faster and faster, like yes, it's like a sense of achievement, and it's like it's almost you keep chasing that high. I don't really want to compare swimming to being a drug addict, but I honestly think that like competitive sport, especially that like a time based like track and field and swimming, it's almost like the same impact on your brain as say like a drug addict chasing a high constantly, and it's harder and harder to get that high the faster and faster you get because it's harder and harder to improve. If you know what I mean. But in a sense, it's like it's the same impact on your brain, but it's more of it in a good way. Like it's actually beneficial.
Positive.
Yeah. But then you can also kind of get sucked into it, and then that becomes the be all and end all. And that's kind of where I ended up at like nearing the end of my swimming career. And then that's when I kind of realized that like there are beneficial parts of swimming, but if you don't like if you don't have the right perspective on it, and you start approaching it in the wrong way, it can be very toxic. I think competitive
And
sport.
it can lead to not enjoying it.
Not enjoying it, it can end up with you. It can.
It's a very love for hate sport, isn't it?
It's a balance and all that, and if you don't like control
it's very
that,
dependent on what you do.
Yeah.
No, it's fair enough. And back to your point, like, releasing anger in the pool. Like, everyone's got a way in releasing anger and, like, inner feelings, and you hear about, like, big brawls in clubs and stuff like that. Yeah. It's all the mind, bro. Like, it's not them,
it's
like,
a big ego thing as well.
How do I release anger? I just bury it in.
You're going to explode one day and you're just going to murder everyone.
Hey, I will not explode.
The big skill is how to control it, and that's through 100%. Experience, I think, as well. And, people learn it over the years, whether you're a teenager, young adult. Some people only learn how to control their anger when they're 40, and some people have problems.
I feel like when that happens, you tend to have a bit of a midlife crisis. It's like, I've been living my life the wrong way for 20 years, and now I'm trying to actually get back on track. I'm not saying I'm the one with the qualified advice because I'm half the age of 40.
No, it's fair enough.
It's a perspective that I think
everyone has a different journey, and there's a big misconception that, like, a 40-year-old has more life experience than a 20-year-old.
It's
not
it's
necessarily.
What you do at that time. 100%.
Exactly.
It's so easy to seek, like, to just fall into comfort, and I kind of look again. My
parents have told me that, actually.
Yeah. Not in the position
big
myself.
Misconception.
Not in the position myself to say this. And like, this is not qualified advice, but I look at my past 6 months, and that's exactly what's happened to me. I've fallen into comfort. I've stopped trying to do new things. I start using people as kind of almost escape. I kind of look at my last relationship, and that's almost like how it was. It was just easier to do that than actually improve myself.
Yeah.
And that kind of trickled down into, like, how like one thing impacts everything else in your life. So that trickled down to everything, and then everything was just going downwards. And I was just like, dude, like, just get your head back into shape and realize that if you want a good life, you got to have problems that you want to solve and actually improve yourself on. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Is there any misconceptions between, like, what people think going into business is like and what it actually...
From your personal experience at the moment.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So I've been doing my business over the last 2 years. Yeah, around 2 years. Yeah, I started in late 2016, and then started my website up in February last year. So I've been doing it for a while, properly and professionally, about 1.5 years. Before that, I was just doing people's lessons at homes and stuff like that. So it was, I've been doing it probably for about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, business advice online and stuff like that you see, you only, unfortunately, and a lot of people are going to be very shocked by this, but everything happens for a reason, and
as cheesy as that sounds,
show you what they want you to see. And I'm not going to name and shame because I know a lot of people out there, but I've looked up to people in the past, and you see they have an amazing life. They're our age, and they've got like millions of dollars, their own apartment and stuff. You find out 6 months later, all that's fake. And
also I feel like, again, back to the millions of dollars, like, I don't feel like money is a very good metric to measure happiness.
No, it's not at all.
Like, I go back to this article I've probably told both of you guys already, but it's like an American study where there is a correlation between the amount of money you earn and how happy you are up to a certain extent. And that certain extent is pretty much when you're able to cover all of your expenses and live comfortably. And then once you earn more money on top of that, there's really no correlation between happiness and how much money you earn. And that number, that figure that they got in that study in American dollars was around $75,000 US per person.
Yeah.
And like, so there could be someone that...
It's people's vision on life and how you see the world around you. If you let the world crumble you, you'll be nowhere, unfortunately.
So I have a little bit of a different thing. I get the 70,000. For me, the amount of money does kind of equal happiness. It depends.
It kind of does. Depends on what person you are.
So
a lot of people judge you because of money, though.
Yeah.
But then again, that is another part where it's like, why are we concerning or living our life off the opinions of other people? Wouldn't it be better and healthier for us to, do our own thing, that's probably actually better for your mind and better to train your mind that way, because then you can actually kind of have a perspective where you're not looking at things subjectively, and you can actually see for what
it's our environment around us. The amount of marketing, the internet especially, it's taken off.
100%.
Yeah.
So the amount that
it's very underpinned because our environment with all the marketing and social media. I was mentioning to you last week, Vincent, that TV and radio is dead because
as a good Gary V once said, the social media is a new.
Well, it's not just him. A lot of people have said that in the past. And I know about Gary V, and he's got some very good advice, but a lot of other people have really good knowledge out there, and it's through following different people and their stories too. It's really built my own experiences.
Yeah. You look at some people, like how quickly you can go viral now on the internet. You couldn't do that 10 years ago.
I know. Yeah. No, it's
like within months, it's just bang.
Has anybody seen the Uncharted new movie?
No.
So it's
random tangent.
A better example would be the Deadpool clip that was released. So they pitched a movie to the studio for Deadpool. The studio said nobody's gonna watch it, nobody's gonna do anything. They canceled it. The director or the actor, I think Ryan Reynolds, they leaked the clip. It went viral, and then
everyone wanted to
next
watch it.
month they announced that the movie was going to be made. So that's the power of the internet.
Well, have you guys seen The Incredibles? Because
honestly,
14 years, since the last one, it's just you wonder what Disney was thinking.
Trying to build even more hype to make more money out of it.
100%.
Well, 14 years, I was...
It's like the Finding Dory
6 or 7 years old when it came out. You just... You forget about it, because I forgot about what the first one was about.
But then it gets chucked back in your face through the internet and advertising and all that. And it's
I was sitting through the start of the movie. I was like, "Hey, bro, what's going on? What's this saying?" Because it's excuse me. The second one's actually the start of it is from the end of the first one. I'm like,
spoilers
on here. No, anyway, just don't watch this bit, guys.
Yeah.
But going back to the whole marketing and stuff like that, over the last 10 years, people's attitudes and behavior has changed because of, the way we live.
I feel like our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
People are trying to find easier ways to life.
That's
because of our predecessors.
It's also it's like a false reality, because that doesn't exist. Because especially with social media and all that, people only post the good shit. So you don't actually see a good representation of their life. And then as a result of that, because you only see the good shit, you don't see their actual life, that makes you feel like that your life is not adequate, and then that actually leads to kind of psychological issues. It's almost at a point where now we're in a position where we're so, I guess, economically comfortable, where we've got access to food, running water, all this stuff. We're more well off that way than it's ever been in the history of humanity.
Living standards have increased through the roof. Yeah. Well, I think Australia has the highest HDI
you're
in the
living
world.
better than kings were 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, no, 100%.
That's how good living standards are now.
Yeah.
But because of that and how the ease of access of everything, because back then you had to actually solve the situation of getting food and all that. So actually you had something on your mind to do. But because that is gone now, you have to fill that with something else. But if you don't fill that with something else and you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, which is now you've got all that time with social media, that actually leads you to have an existential crisis. And now we've got psychological issues now.
There's one really interesting thing that I read online. It's that we have all the knowledge in the world that's ever been discovered by humanity at our fingertips. At a click of a button, yet we use that power to look up cat videos and watch cat videos. But the question that I have for you guys is do you want that to what should we do with that? Do we accept that?
The thing is,
or do we try and change it?
As much as you want to change, you can't really control where society's going. You can control your actions and how you're gonna maybe even counteract that and actually still live a good life yourself. But I don't think you can't. This is just the way the direction society is going. Because this is the easier option in instant gratification. It's the easier option in the moment, but then in the long run, it doesn't actually lead to any happiness. But that's where we're at the moment, and it's going to keep going like that, in my mind.
Like I said, what do we do with that? Do we follow the trend, or do we try to break the trend and try and
I think you train yourself.
Train yourself. Yeah.
Yes, like you trying to look at.
No one else is gonna do it for you. So
Yeah, exactly. You gotta teach yourself. You gotta like first understand.
I've learned that in business myself.
Yeah.
So.
Understand that this is happening, and then realize that because now you know what's happening. You kind of like separate yourself from the situation, then you kind of look at it objectively again, and do what you know is right in a sense, and kind of get away from those impulses, which is hard, but it's something that you kind of got to do.
So Ben, you just said like previously that you know, you learned a lot of things were false in terms of business, but is there anything that you learned like whilst doing business?
Yeah, so you know, just thinking about where your business is heading, you've got to have an agenda. You've got to have short and long-term goals. You've got to be business smart as well.
Thank you.
It's all right. Yeah, so you got to be business smart as well. There's a lot of people like that, you know, say, I want to start a clothing company, you know, do the X amount of this, X amount of that, but they don't really think about, you know, how they're going to get there. They just look at the finish line.
Oh yeah, because it's easier to just fantasize about living this reality that doesn't exist.
But they don't think about the economics behind it. There is so many clothing brands out there. Like, you know, the amount of clothing brands and ads I see on Instagram and stuff like that for these random jeans companies I haven't even heard of. You know, it just absolutely amazes me. And, you know, like fashion is a booming industry, especially sportswear. Like, you know,
health is also a big industry now. Health foods and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
people are very health conscious now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, Top Juice and Boost Juice and stuff. They've gone through the roof in the last 10 years. You know, you think about like people don't go to food courts to eat. They make their own food or they buy healthy alternatives. Yeah. You know, like health food aisles in the supermarkets never existed 10 years ago. People are becoming smarter.
And a lot of e-commerce sites are. The majority of probably health kind of stuff, whatever it might be.
They've got to be. Like, how are you supposed to sell a piece of crap?
Yeah, literally, like, you can't
just be like, oh yeah, come get this fatty burger with freaking 50 grams of fat, you know? Like,
well, then there's like a different kind of marketing. It's like this tastes amazing. Like, it tastes amazing or it's good for you. I think more people are leaning towards it's good for you side than the
pretty much. Yeah. It's always something they consider.
I'm still one of those that it tastes good. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, no, as I was saying, like, you know, just you've got to build experience in business as well, and just keep trying, keep at it. You know, there's a lot of people that
be a student, constantly learning.
Yeah, especially at our age, it's hard because you know a lot of us, like me and you guys, are at university. You know, that's a really secure job route. Yeah. And you know, sometimes, and it's not for everyone. Businesses aren't for everyone, and you've got to be very, very dedicated to your business and stuff like that. Yeah. And you know, you've just got to keep going with your goals and whatever you want to do. So I'm not sure if you guys agree. And
no, I think yes and no. Like I think at uni, one part's the study and getting the job and stuff. But the other part, especially going into full-time study, I think this is kind of my perspective. It's also teaches you good work ethic because, like, once you get into the later years of uni, you can't just like cram at the last minute and expect to do well. If you actually want to do well at these sort of things, it teaches you to learn things that you might not like to learn. Because obviously, even when it comes to running a business, there's gonna be shit that you don't want to do. Like I don't know, maybe setting up a website and all that sort of stuff is probably not the most fun thing, but it's kind of teaching you to be able to spend time and do things on the things you don't.
It's part of the process, though, man.
Yeah, it's
if you're passionate about what you do, there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah,
fantastic.
So I have. So this is my dilemma. Sorry, last point. This is my dilemma. In terms of business, on one side you have the risk versus reward, right? So high risk, high reward. Really high reward.
I feel like done properly, it'd be low risk, high reward. Asymmetric risk.
You got to be realistic about your goals as well, because if you follow what you know that guy on Instagram with 500k followers, you know,
but he's already built his audience. Maybe you could kind of there's that what is it called, like reverse engineering. Yeah. But you kind of got to look at what they started with, not what they're doing right now. Because a lot of people with big,
you got to think about what they started. They don't show that though.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Exactly. And that's why there's part of it's figuring out how to do it yourself, and also there's plenty of online courses of people that actually have done it, and it's probably a good way to learn as well. I think a lot of people are afraid to spend a few $100 on an online course, but when you think about it, they're so comfortable spending a few.
Or just just watching YouTube videos with like business mentors. It's a great thing that I've reached out to you guys, and I'm doing these sort of talks because I really want to sort of reach out to my audience and provide them my experience on business.
Let them know your insight.
Yeah, because I was just an average guy a few years ago.
Still am. We all are.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's also that's another thing.
You can't put yourself up.
Never ever forget that you're just a normal person. I think it's so easy to get ego in, and have that start to be the drive of what you want to do rather than what you actually want to do, and that's when it becomes toxic. It's definitely got to avoid that.
Yeah, it's good insight, man.
And then, so like I say, risk and reward, and then stability on the other hand. With a full-time job and university, and I can already see like, oh, I do this job, and then I graduate with this degree.
Like a hierarchy.
Exactly. I see this, I do this, I go there, I go. I can see that like laid out, but with business, it's like I don't know, it's uncertain, right? Like you could be rich and successful.
That's
you
just
could do
reality
nothing.
though when you're starting up. You're not guaranteed an income in a year's time.
Exactly.
Learning
I don't
experience.
think any business is.
So that's my always struggle is, do I want stability or do I want high rewards and high risk?
And I feel like at this age, it's probably better to go the high risk because you're never.
Did you hear about Donut Time? They're back.
Oh really?
Yep. They went into liquidation, I believe, and then they recovered their assets last week. So no, they're back. But they said they were liquidated about 4 months ago, but it's taken this amount of time to set up their finances again to then operate again. So
They had good
I love Donut Time. Like I heard some quite negative things about it, but I think it was a really good franchise. Like it was.
They tried to expand too quickly, too fast, and
That's one thing
You got to do. Don't expand too quickly. So for sure.
They kind of imploded.
All right.
So
I think we got some pretty cool insights from that. It was a good chat.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, guys. Yeah,
Thank you,
appreciate
Ben.
it.
and I'd also like to apologize because I'm kind of sick. So
Sounds like he's got a cock in his
right.
At least you're doing it, man.
And,
That's the main thing.
You can kind of hear me sniffing throughout. I was just like,
I probably have Ebola now. Anyways, thanks.